how do they prove viruses exist? So let's do a quick walkthrough. Let's talk the polio virus, right? So they get somebody who has a disease, they're paralyzed, right? And then they die. So they take some of their spine out. They don't see a virus. They don't have any sensory impression of a virus, right? All they know is the child died and their spine is diseased. So they take this spine, grind it up in a blender, put it in some water, inject that into the brain of 2 monkeys. One monkey dies, one got paralyzed, and they said, there, we isolated the virus. I read that and I thought, you have got to be kidding. Because first of all, you don't know that there's a virus in there. And second of all, maybe monkeys don't like having dead spinal goop injected in their brain. And they didn't bother to inject like healthy spinal goop or even just saline into there, see if that, just injecting stuff into monkeys' brains. And then they did that for 50 years. And thousands, 100,000 monkeys, that was how they proved the existence of the polio virus. And then in 1953, somebody said, I'm going to inject normal spine into these monkeys' brains, see what happens. You know what happened? Monkey died, got paralyzed. He said, we've disproved how we knew there was a polio virus. But don't worry, we have a new way of proving it. Let's do it with measles virus. And I'm going to maybe get something here. Yeah. So 1954 came the gold standard of proving there's a virus. Paper by John Enders. Most people haven't read it, but I've read it 50 times. So he takes the mucus from a child they say has measles. They don't look for a virus. They can't find a virus. They've never seen a virus in any biological fluid of any sick person. Never. And they say it. You can't see it. So they take somebody who has measles, they say, they take the mucus, they centrifuge it, get some of the debris out, and then they have a vial of like centrifuge snot from somebody with measles. Then they put that on a culture of monkey kidney cells, and they add kidney poison antibiotics, and then they take away the food of the kidney cells, and then they add horse serum and fetal bovine serum and some other serums, and then they add some chemicals like trypsin. 3 days later, the kidney cells die, and they said, see, that's called the isolation of the measles virus. The proof that there's a measles virus. And I read that, I thought, and to this day, that is how all viruses have been isolated, proven to exist. No exceptions. Now, here's the interesting thing. In this same paper that he got a Nobel Prize for, he says the following. A second agent was obtained from uninoculated culture of monkey kidney cells. The cytopathic changes it induced in the unstained preparation could not be distinguished from the viruses isolated from measles. In other words, he actually took everything the same, except he didn't put anything from anybody with measles. And so he didn't inoculate the culture, put the antibiotics, took away the nutrients, added the serums and the chemicals, and it broke down the same. Now, I don't know about you, but that tells me it had nothing to do with anything from the measles person. Right?
Yeah.
It's finished.
That's what
you
should
have said, this is bullshit. We're not doing this anymore. And that has been repeated a dozen times, and we repeated it ourselves, and you always get the exact same thing. That proves that is the way they prove the existence of viruses to this day. It's called the viral culture. It's the gold standard of virology. If you get rid of the viral culture, there is no virology left.
Why can't they just let it go?
It's good business. What do they make billions and terrorize the people, which is the function of government, by selling them vaccines for chickenpox and measles and mumps. And then they tell you, by the way, oh, so the reason we give you this vaccine is so you make antibodies, right? COVID shot. And Jesse, we know antibodies protect you for life from the disease, right? You heard that. You get measles, you get antibodies, you never get measles again. You get chickenpox, you get antibodies, you never get chickenpox again. You get the flu, you get antibodies. Well, then you get the flu again, but that's because the flu is smart and it evaded the antibodies. Then you get HIV and you get antibodies. And Jesse, that's because antibodies mean the virus is going to kill you. And I remember when I first heard that in 1984 from Gallo, he got on the TV and said, we've discovered the cause of AIDS, it's HIV, and we know because people have antibodies. And I turned to my friend and said, wait a minute. I just spent 4 years learning that antibodies mean I'm protected from the disease. And this joker just got on the TV and said, antibodies mean I'm going to die from the virus. Like, who changed the rules with no explanation? You gotta be friggin' kidding me. And to this day, they say, oh, antibodies may mean you're immune. It may mean you're not immune. We don't know. Never mind. That's why we're vaccinating you. But if you have antibodies, we still need to vaccinate you because we can't trust the antibodies. And thanks very much for coming. $1 trillion and all this research. And we get to close down the world and kill all the chickens and come after your cats and dogs. All because of an imaginary virus. It's great. It's a great gig if you can get it.
If you enjoyed that clip, you're going to want to head over here and catch a full episode. I'll see you over there.
Nobody has liver attacks, kidney attacks. They have heart attacks and brain attacks called strokes. No other organ has attacks, even though the blood is the same and the arteries are the same, which led me to think it's got to